Welcome to the Karizma Speaks podcast. Karizma delves deep into the heart of the controversy, uncovering truths and voicing opinions on provocative topics, fair use commentary, analytical insights, and a search for justice. This isn't for the faint of heart. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. The exposing continues right here on Karizma Speaks. Welcome to Karizma Speaks Official. I wanted to get into a story that I found very interesting. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you don't know already, I have a micro guide out for those who recently escaped the cult or got out of a cult or a high control group. Just kind of expectations, what you could pretty much expect after leaving those type of groups, how you might feel after leaving a cult. Okay, so if you are interested in that, all the red flags, the guilt tripping, the different emotions, then make sure you go ahead and get that survival guide. All right, and that's available on Amazon, and it's called You're Not Crazy, You're Just Out of a Cult. These type of manipulative men and these type of manipulative women in these type of high control groups, you from the outside looking at these type of groups, some people might automatically say something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. This is not normal. This is not regular. You might not know what a cult is, but you might feel like something's off. Okay. Basically a cult is any destructive group. All right. Any destructive group. And this is how I define it based on my experience. Any high control destructive group who isolates you from your family, who tells you that they're God or they're a prophet and they have these prophecies, right? Who don't tell you everything up front, but you find out later what's going on. Okay, so it's sneaky. It can happen at any time. So it says a missing Texas mom was found living with a lost African tribe. Now her family speaks out. Okay, and that's similar to IUIC, but I'll get into that at the end of this article. Okay, that's the cult that I survived. So it says a missing Texas woman was found living with the self-proclaimed leaders of a lost African tribe in a Scottish forest. She insists she's there by her own free will, despite her family's fears that she is lost to that sect forever. Kaura Taylor was recently found living in the woods. This is scary. This is why you got to be careful. This is a grown woman. This is a single mother. This is a mom of a small child. So this is serious. It can happen to anybody. You could be college educated. You don't have to be educated at all. So please don't think that when you get sucked into these type of groups, that is because that person, something is mentally wrong with them, because that's not the case. Because it happens gradually over time, somebody manipulating you. It's kind of like a manipulative relationship, if you've ever been in one. So please don't judge. Let's get right back into it. It says Kaura Taylor was recently found living in the woods with the group after vanishing from her home 3 months ago. She left relatives distraught. They didn't know where she was. And she's up in the woods in Scotland. So this man and his wife allegedly, I gotta say allegedly, isolated Kaura, and now she's a handmaiden. I kid you not. That's her title. She is a handmaiden. You remember that TV show? The Handmaid, was it The Handmaiden Tales or something like that? Her title is a handmaiden. They got her bowing down on her knees in a forest, living in tents. Okay, the city, wherever they're living, I don't even know if you call that a city, but wherever they're living, the police basically already gave them notices to evict them, and one of the tents was set on fire because of basically what they're doing. They're just basically putting up tents. saying they're a lost African tribe, saying that land is theirs based on some doctrine that he teach, some doctrine that they're teaching, saying that that land is theirs and they shouldn't have to pay for anything because God is going to give it all to them. And they feel the land is God's. They don't know what no eviction is. They don't know what nothing is because everything is God's. So the family spoke out. The Aunt Terry Allen told The Independent, quote, "It is very stressful and difficult. It breaks our heart. We're overly concerned about Kaura, but she doesn't think anyone is concerned about her." And that was Terry Allen, her aunt. In a message posted to Facebook after 21-year-old Taylor, mother to a one-year-old child, who she took with her to Scotland. Whoa. She took her one-year-old child to Scotland because of this group. Because of this group. And I don't know if they're going to say the name of the group. But let's continue. This is sad. This is scary. So a red flag, okay? A red flag, and I talk about this in the micro guide. Make sure you go get it. I'm not going to get too deep, but get the guide if you want to get a little deeper. But one red flag is isolation. That's what cults do. That's a red flag. No matter what age group you are, if somebody is isolating one of your family members, if somebody is isolating your child, I don't care if it's a church, I don't care if it's a man, if it's a woman, that is a red flag. If they start to be out somewhere, away from home, more often than usual, they're not answering your calls. They stop dressing the same. They stop talking the same. They're talking different. They're dressing different. Those are red flags. It's not a phase. Sometimes they may be sucked into these type of groups or even abusive relationship within these groups that they can't get out of, that you may not know about. And it sounds like this is maybe what happened to Kaura. I'm not saying that she was, mistreated or anything, but usually these type of situations, it's easy for somebody doing that to mistreat you because you're isolated from your family, you're isolated from your friends, your loved ones, whoever, your associates, so nobody could come and help you if something went left. And that's not good. That's not good to be far like that away from anybody, right? So she took her one-year-old child to Scotland with her to be with this cult, to be a handmaiden with this cult, right? So it says she was not, and then she lashed out at her family, talking about she was not missing. She's a grown woman. She doing everything with her free will. Nobody is making her do anything. That's another red flag. Usually the person who's controlling her, or like the cult that was controlling me, they will tell you what to say or not to say. So you can't take those words that she says for face value, because usually if it's that man and the woman who's manipulated, they said it's a married couple who's manipulating her. A married couple. She's their handmaiden. Sleeping with this man, talk about, oh, this my husband. I don't have a ring or no papers, but I'm a handmaiden and I'm unofficially his wife. I'm his second wife, unofficially. Like, come on, man. Come on. This is sad. This is some sad stuff. It says that she lashed out at reporters. She lashed out at the reports. She said, I'm not missing. I'm in, like, what are y'all talking about? Basically tried to make her family look crazy. And this is what she said. Quote, I'm very happy with my king and queen. I was never missing. I fled a very abusive, toxic family. End quote, Taylor wrote, following up with a video message telling UK authorities to leave her alone in the woods of Jedburgh, 40 miles south of Edinburgh. She added that she is, quote, an adult, not a helpless child, end quote. And that's another thing. If you have a toxic family, and she said toxic and abusive, that is like a gateway into a cult. into a bad relationship, into anything destructive. If your family is toxic, if you do not have a support system, if things are rocky at home, if you don't have a good relationship with your parents for whatever reason or whatever, that makes it easier for them to get you sucked into that, because what they do is they say, well, I'm your new family. I'll be your spiritual father. I'll be your spiritual mother. I'll be your brother or your sister. You know what I mean? So a lot of the times people are missing something. They're looking for something. They're lacking something. If it's family, then that's what's going to attract them to whatever dynamic they got going on. So you have to feel like you're missing something. Something may have happened right before. It usually do. Something usually happened right before you join these cults, right before you join these groups, because they're not just a cult out front. It could be a church. It could be a relationship. I got to say it in the words that y'all understand. It could be painted on the outside as anything. But inside that relationship, inside that abuse, it is defined as a cult usually. It's destructive. It's secretive. They're isolating you. They're telling you, they're teaching you a doctrine. They're saying you're not black, you're not African American, you're Israelite, or they may say you are African. Whatever doctrine they have, that is what they need in order to brainwash you. Because without that doctrine, without it being religious, you're not going to fall for it. That's why religion a lot of the times blind us. Religion blind us a lot of the times, especially if you grew up in church. If you grew up in these places where you're not questioning what's going on, you're not taught to question the pastor, you're not taught to question what's going on, or where, like, the tithes, where the money's going. You're not taught to ask these things, right? You're not taught to ask, what are they teaching us? What are they teaching us? Are they helping us, right? So when you're not taught to ask questions when it comes to God and religion, then you are blind to these things a lot of the time when somebody say God or Jesus or these trigger words that get you worked up and get you in a mindset, now I gotta be holy. Like, like, it's something about these words, church, Jesus, God, that makes us docile almost, a lot of us. You know what I mean? And I think that's what happened to me. That's what happened to a lot of other people who got sucked in these churches, who got sucked in these places, these relationships, and it turns out to be destructive for us. Abusive, verbally abusive, breaking us down, destroying us. So we leave more worse than when we came, right? We went there for God, we went there for help, and we left without any of that, and mentally abused, sometimes physically. So this type of stuff is serious. So she's saying that she is not a helpless child. She's not missing and all this stuff. So it seems like something happened before she made the decision to move all the way to Scotland with these people. So I'm kind of, I'm worried, because it's like, what you gonna do if something happens out there? What are you going to do when those people start tripping? Right? When somebody start tripping, when you make somebody mad, or like, what's going to happen then? How are you going to leave that forest in Scotland? How are you going to leave with your 1-year-old? That's scary, but she probably can't see that right now, because she's thinking that she's doing something holy and righteous, and she's thinking she found the truth. Probably all the stuff that I went through, similar, if not similar. This is scary. So she's not talking to her family. She basically said they're toxic, they're abusive, they're the bad guys, they're the reason she left, is what she's saying. She kept it hidden from the family. Another red flag. If somebody joins a new church or gets in a new relationship, for example, and they don't tell the family about it, like nobody knows about it, that's another red flag. the person is usually telling them not to tell anybody, and they make you the bad guy. Oh, your mom did this, remember? Like, first you confess something to them, you tell them something personal. Say you say something about your mom. Me and my mom don't have the best relationship or whatever. And then when something goes wrong, that guy, it's like they're being controlled by that other person in the relationship. Oh, your mama, remember how your mama is? Don't listen to them. They just trying to be in your business. They just trying to be nosy. Remember she did this to you. Remember your family don't like you. Remember they did this. You gotta be careful. If you don't know anything about that relationship, you don't know anything about that new group, you don't know nothing, they keeping it secret. Red flag. Red flag. She began communicating in 2023 with so-called Kingdom of Kubala. That's what the group name is, Kingdom of Kubala. And the leader is King Atahini, a former opera singer and PR agent from Ghana, whose real name is Kofi Ofe, and his wife, Jean Gachot, who now goes by Queen Nandi. This is some crazy mess. Queen Nandi did not respond to a request for comment. An email seeking comment from King Atahini bounced back as undeliverable. The Kingdom of Kubala claims to be a lost Hebrew tribe that aims to retake the land they say was expropriated when Queen Elizabeth I expelled native black Jacobites from England in the 1590s. So again, it's similar to IUIC, Israel United in Christ. They teach that black, Hispanics, and Native Americans are the chosen ones of God, the Israelites, right? You're not black, you're Israelite. It sounds like this is the same type of thing, different face, but it seems like there's a lot of black male cult leaders popping up. And it's a lot of black women getting tricked into these groups. It's a lot of single black women getting tricked into these groups, or single black mothers getting tricked into these groups, because they're looking at these men thinking they're leaders, thinking they could possibly be a father or father figure, and it's not even what's going on. That's not even what's going on. For real. So a lot of women get sucked into these things because of that. So it's 3 of them: the husband, the wife, and the handmaiden, who is the missing Texas woman, or was the missing Texas woman. They hope to add the numbers to their tribe. So they're trying to recruit new people. And usually when the news cover these stories, unfortunately, it can be a double-edged sword, because the group or the cult, they take it as, oh, this is free promotion. Look, we on the news, we on TV. More people gonna see us. We're gonna get new recruits. New people are gonna join. This is good. New money, right? I'm like trying to think of how these cult leaders think. New money. Look at these dummies, right? Let's go ahead and use this Bible. Let them fools know they Israelites, and let's suck every dime out of them, just like the Christian church did. Different face, same scam. Different face, different name, different symbols, different clothing, same scam. Sucking the dollars out of black people. Sucking the life out of black people. They're not using you for your money. They're using you for what you got, your talents, whatever they could use to grow their organization. That's what happened with me and plenty other people. And it seems like that's what's happened to her. She's pretty much a slave. That's what a handmaiden is. A handmaiden is a slave, pretty much. She's in a forest being a slave to a married man. Okay. All because she believed in this doctrine that he's preaching. I have to say that. Because she's thinking this is godly. This is, oh my goodness, right? This is in the Bible. Yeah, they're using God worse than the Christian church. These Hebrew cults, I'm telling you. Be careful. These black Hebrew cults, these black founded cults with majority black leaders. They could have Hispanics or Native Americans, but it's majority black leaders. These are black men, a lot of the times, creating these groups and making black women their slaves. I got to keep it plain and simple. They're making black women their slaves, and they're using God to do it. They're making you a slave, not submissive, right? No. They're abusing the Bible, and they're making these wives slaves. And they making their side pieces, trying to give them fancy titles. No. Nothing about that is holy, period. But that's what these black men are doing, pimping black women like they usually do. These types in a different form. They're no longer in the streets pimping, right? They are using the Bible. They in the churches pimping now. And it's not just these pastors with these mega churches. It's these little mom and pop churches now. These odd, weird churches with these weird, odd doctrines that's trying to use the Bible to get $1 out of you. To make you a slave, make you a wife, so they can make you a slave. I'm telling you, that's what IUIC do. They break you down like a pimp. They break the women down like a pimp. You shut up, don't say nothing, don't talk, do what we say. We are your Lord. We're your Lord, they said. Call me Lord. That's what the women in IUIC, they call their husbands Lord. Nah, that's blasphemy. But this is what these black men are teaching black women. And you got to be aware of that. And they'll always use race. Oh, the white man, white Jesus, she crazy, he crazy. They believe in white Jesus. No. That's a distraction. Red flag. If it's always race baiting, red flag. That's manipulation too, right? That's manipulation too. They're trying to get an emotional reaction out of you to weaken you. And then they get you and say, oh, well, why don't you come over here, brother or sister, because we teaching the black Jesus. We got black Jesus over here. We don't believe in no white Jesus. They'll tell you all type of stuff. Just like some pimps. These are some religious pimps, in my opinion. Everything is in my own opinion. So I think that's what happened to Kaura. And so this doctrine that they believe in is what's got her mind messed up, right? Because without the doctrine, he's just, a regular dude, right? A homeless dude living in the forest. You remove the doctrine and you just say what it is. It's a homeless black man and his wife living in the forest, recruiting other people to live with them in the forest because he want to be worshiping. He want to probably mess with all type of other women and brainwash them to believe that they are some holy title or doing something holy, right? For the kingdom or whatever. Nah. So, her masters, this king and queen, what is it? She went, hold on, give me a second. She's a handmaiden of Queen Nandi. And she discovered this group online. Be careful. Everything is now happening online. Online is turning into real life. That's how I got sucked into a cult. Watching online videos. And I ain't no dummy. Watching online videos. Right? It says that she discovered them online through a high school classmate. She then cut herself off very suddenly from loved ones, remember, red flag, refusing to attend family gatherings and stop celebrating holidays. Ooh, another red flag. If all their life they celebrated holidays, all their life, right? And there's nothing wrong with changing your religion. There's nothing wrong with not celebrating holidays. But what I'm saying is a drastic change. Like yesterday in all their life, they celebrated Christmas. They celebrated their birthdays. They celebrated everything with the family. And then literally in 24 hours, they don't celebrate nothing. They don't celebrate their birthday. They go by a different name. They're dressing different. That's a red flag. That's a major red flag. This is what you have to use with your own loved ones. This is serious. Not everybody make it out of these cults. And I pray that she make it out alive. I pray that she wake up from this and make it out with her baby alive from this crazy man and his wife who should be ashamed of themselves. Right? want to be called some queen and king and want to be worshiped. Everybody trying to play the role of God. Everybody trying to play the role of God. Everybody want to be worshiped, right? That's the problem. So, unfortunately, she did what I did. It's so similar. It's so scary. Stop celebrating holidays, right? Stop talking to family. Emotionally disconnect. So Taylor was living with her aunt, Vandora, before she left. So that's pretty much all I'm going to cover, because this is a long article. But y'all make sure you go ahead and review that article. And be careful, because it's no longer the Christian church. It's no longer the Christian church. It is now the Black Hebrew Israelite Church, the Black Hebrew Israelite group. They're going to tell you Jesus black. They're going to bring up all this stuff about police brutality and race bait you, right? I'm literally, I'm not 100% desensitized from it, because we do go through, a lot of people go through a lot of different things, but especially black people, we do go through a lot. So I don't want to make it seem like we don't, but what they do is they use that as a tool of manipulation so that you can trust them. You can let down your guard. Oh, that's a brother. They look like me. That's my brother. That's my sister. This is why they use these terms, these familial terms, so that you can loosen up, right? Let your guard down, so then they can go ahead and sneak up in you and see how you get down, see how you live, and see where your money coming from, see what you do, see how you do it. Study you, right? Have you revealing all this personal information about yourself so that they can use it against you later. That's what these groups did to me. Plenty others. All right. So Kaura, please, please, please wake up. I pray she wake up and get up out of Scotland and get her baby up out of there before it's too late. Because if people are already burning their tents on fire, that's like, come on, you literally playing with fire at that point. If people are burning their tents up while they're sleeping, setting tents on fire, whether they up or not, that's a death threat. I'll take that as a death threat. I would have been out of there. But you know what? With this indoctrination with God is a powerful tool to use to manipulate people. Innocent people who really trying to get to know the scriptures or get to know God, build a personal relationship, whatever you want to call it. Innocent people who really love God, they're the main ones that get sucked into these things, because they know that's your weakness. God is your weakness, right? Everybody have a weakness, right? Some people, weakness is sex. Some people, weakness is food. Some people, weakness is religion, God. Just the mere mention of God, and your whole mindset, your body position, your body language change. We have to desensitize ourselves from these words, or these people are going to use them against you. So that's all I got to say, y'all. My book, Tales from the Cult, Memoir of a former Black Hebrew Israelite, drops August 31st. I tell my entire story from beginning to end with more details than on my channels and podcasts. So make sure you get that book. It's going to be on Amazon and payhip.com. The links are all in my bio. So with that being said, thank y'all for tuning in, and I will see y'all on the next video in Karizma Speaks podcast. Hit the like button and make sure you subscribe to the channel.